And we are live. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Great. Now Willie and Bash are going to Flow and posting things Central Time. No, it's all Eastern Time. We were just, I'm in Florida. Willie's in Florida. We're just, everybody's in the Sunshine State, the Freedom State. So just a little bit.
What does being in Florida have to do with being late?
Different setups, new environments, traveling, mic issues.
I hate doing shows on the road with unfamiliar setup. I went down to the lobby. I'm at the hotel for RAF, if you don't know. RAF is this weekend, and we're already down here. And I went down to the lobby to see, but there was nothing I could do down there. But it is nice. It was nice to get off the plane, and it was warm.
It is beautiful. It is unseasonably beautiful. My whole family lives here, and my mom had said the last couple of years it's a little colder in January, and I'm like, it's 85 and sunny today. She's like, this is unseasonably warm. It is just perfect.
Not to get into politics, which means I'm getting into politics. But as soon as I got off the plane, nice and warm, got an Uber. The Uber driver that picked me up he moved here 7 years ago from Venezuela. So I was like, well, I got to ask, And we had a very good conversation.
Was he overall happy?
He's not overall happy. He was overall ecstatic.
Yeah.
And the stories he told me were incredible. I'm not going to expound on it, but it was a really interesting. He gave a lot of the stuff that you hear.
You're just learning left and right. You're learning from this Venezuelan. You're learning today about TaskRabbit. You had meetings last night. You're learning about Grounded.
Yeah. I love to learn.
Let's dive into the grounding thing.
Yeah. So there was a meeting last night. Actually, it was at 7:30. Every RAF event on the Wednesday before we have a meet and greet. Just an initial meeting with all the athletes on the card. And last night it was at 8:00, but I got late notice. There was a meeting on Grounded, the new Grounded rules. If you haven't heard, there is no Grounded anymore. And there's a lot of, I'm pausing because there's a lot of nuance in that. And so Casey Gessel, who's one of the top referees in America and actually one of the top referees in the world, very high up on the UWW ladder most of the time. If you don't, the best officials get the best assignments. And so, like, if you get recognized in the United States early on, you might do a Pan Am's, or you might do a Continental, and then maybe you graduate up to doing a Cadet Worlds or a Junior Worlds or something like that. And yeah. Casey's progressed all the way up to, he not even doing Olympics and Worlds, but being on the jury and being involved in the conversations of new rules and early implementations and rules development and stuff. And so him and Stacey Davis, who's also a longtime veteran official and now at USA Wrestling on the United States Officials Development Program or Officials Education Program. So it was Bill Zadek, Casey Gessel, Stacey Davis, and some athletes, some coaches. I was in there, which I'm thankful that I got the invite to that. But Casey went over a bunch of new scenarios with videos, and it was very helpful. I'm not going to lie. Some of them had me scratching my head like, I understand. Like, I understand his rationale for all of them. There were a couple that I was like, he explained it. I still don't get it. Like one of the examples was the Jax Forrest. Remember when Jax Forrest went out of bounds with Yaguyev?
Yep.
Still didn't get that one. So, you're the moral of the story is the ranking series are coming up. The new grounded rules, the new boundary rules, I should say, are going to be implemented immediately, and these ranking series are coming up. Yashrdo is
This weekend.
this weekend, and then Albania. By the way, the roster are the U.S. roster for who's going to Yashrdo is already out.
I put that out
Obviously
last week.
this weekend, but um, I thought maybe we're sending people to that. We probably won't send anybody to Albania, but that is wrong. We are sending people to Albania, so we're sending people to both of them, which is great.
Yeah, let me
But
tell. Hold on,
so
real quick. Well,
yeah,
go ahead. I was just going to pull up who's going because I just put that out a couple days ago. It's Bo Bartlett at 65 kilos, James Green, Quincy Monday, and Yaya Thomas at 74 kilos, and then Greg Kirkfleet, Jordan Wood, and Christian Lance at heavyweight. Those are the 7 that are going.
right, right. So we are sending some other guys to the Albanian one, and the thing that really got me beyond, they say you get hit with the news. Oh, they're changing grounded, and you're you have a conception. You try to visualize what that looks like. Okay, nobody, they're gonna they're gonna penalize you, or you're no longer allowed to drop to a knee, and this and that, and you try to visualize it. But there are a lot of changes that are going to come along with that. For one, there's this thing where if your chest is on their back and you're sort of in a front head position and you're trying to get a go behind, and you step out, that is allowed. But if your chest is not on their back, you're
Interesting.
considered neutral. So a lot of it is in the language and understanding what they're considering on the ground, what they're considering parterre and neutral, and there's going to be a lot of adjustment periods for the wrestlers, for the referee, not the referees. The referees, I feel like the referees, by and large, of course, there's going to be calls we don't agree with, but I feel like the way he was explaining it, the referees have a very good grasp on what it is they're going to do. But I think from a viewer, from a fan, from the wrestlers and coaches, they're going to have a little bit of an adjustment period saying, okay, I understand this now.
Yeah.
Or, and to me, what was the highlight of it was, or the light bulb moment was, not just that the rules are changed, we are going to see edge wrestling be completely different. The wrestlers are going to end up wrestling it completely different.
What
It's going to be a new kind of product.
What was the rule change? I remember you giving praise to Jaden Cox for the cadets and juniors, and there was a rule change that he was really. Maybe it wasn't a rule change. Maybe it was how they were calling it. It was something on the edge. I can't remember. Do you remember what it was? Was it grounding?
Yeah, it was. It was. It had to do with grounding, and yeah, that was because at every world championship, they start with a rules meeting and points of emphasis, and they usually, like, the cadet world championships is the first on the calendar every year.
Yeah.
And so that is the first time all year that we will get a message from the officials on what they're looking for, what could be tweaked, what could be changed, what could be emphasized. So I go to Cadet Worlds often, and so that I get to see what they're talking about early on, right? And
Yep.
it'll be applied to the cadets. It'll be emphasized at the cadet worlds, and then juniors, and then seniors. And so last year was Jaden Cox went to the rules meeting. I actually didn't go to the meeting last year, but Jaden Cox did, and he came back and taught the team. It's on video. It's on actually my Twitter and Rockfin channel. A video of Jaden explaining this.
Yeah.
So it was, it's pretty neat and kind of an evolution to it now. But I wish I could put into words what I learned and what you should expect, but it's difficult, right, to explain wrestling positions and what you actually see. But it's going to be very interesting. And
Yeah,
we're not going to implement it tonight or Saturday at RAF. We're going to wait. But it should be interesting, and I think it should be better. It should be better. I mean, you know how you watch Worlds or you watch a freestyle competition, you say, "Oh my god, like that guy just gamed that situation. Like he
yeah,
just grounded himself, right?"
yeah,
And you're like, "Oh, that's bad. That's not good. He's cheating. He's gaming the system. He's gaming the rules, right?" But so that's bad. But when you see a compilation of them, like
yeah,
last night during the meeting and the video presentation, Casey Gessel had instance after instance after instance of these guys grounding themselves. You're like, oh my god, this really was a plague. They were
yeah.
just, yeah. I mean, it's like not
The
ruining
inst-
the sport, but it's making the sport different.
the instances don't run through my head, but it's funny the tweets do. Like all the different wrestling personalities complaining about it and pointing it out, like those all run through my head thinking about it. So it should be good, and I'm sure our coaches and athletes are going to do a good job adjusting. I'm sure it'll of course be an adjustment period, but I think it sounds like it's going to be much for the better.
It will be, and I imagine at first coaches, fans, wrestlers will be like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
But let it iron itself out, and I think we're going to have a better product, a higher scoring product, um, a true better for the final determination of who was better that match. Um, yeah, I'm excited about it.
for sure. All right, well, William, before we dive into the weekend, we have to dive into what has been already this week. We got a Tuesday night duel, which was expecting Frost versus
Larkin,
Frost versus Larkin times two. We did not see either of that, but Larkin bumps up to 157. Larkin, who I think is 3 or 4 at 149, bumps up to 157, and it sounds like permanently, and knocks off Vinny Zerban 4-1, who's the current third in the country at 157. Crazy
yeah,
for a mid-season weight change like that.
yeah, very almost unprecedented, not unprecedented, but very, very rare to see a mid-season weight change. And even more rare is that he wasn't doing bad. It's
Yeah.
not like he was doing bad at 49. He was doing very good at 49 as a freshman. So, but it appears he's going up in
It makes you
perpetuity.
wonder how bad that weight cut was. You know, it's like you said, it wasn't like he was underperforming it at
Yeah,
149, but assuming for you to make that change mid-season, like that weight cut had to be a huge part.
yeah. I wasn't sure, and in the off season, I talked to the Arizona State staff a lot, and I would ask him all the time, "Is it going to be Manville, Larkin, 41, 49? Were they doing? Were they?" And it was like they're going to try, they're going to try, they're going to try, they're going to try 41, 49. And so, yeah, it's a good pull for him.
Yeah, it was too. It did stink. So in regards to Caleb Larkin, it is interesting because we had that match a couple weeks ago where Jackson Joy goes out and texts him 15-0 the first period, which it kind of makes you think about Jackson Joy a little bit, where it's like Caleb Larkin is this damn good, and Jackson Joy 15-0'd him in one period. But now we could very well tomorrow night get Caleb Larkin Ty Waters at 157, which another banger of a match. So Caleb Larkin's going to move up to 157, and his first two matches are going to be against the 3 and the 1 in the country. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So it's a reshuffling. It's a reshuffling of both 57 and 49, and you know, not that I not that I care. Like whatever's best for Caleb Larkin, but 149 takes another loss.
Yeah.
It's a weight that's already goofy. It's a weight that's already hurting for any sort of stability or pecking order or what have you, and we lose another piece from there. Um,
Have you
and
began to think about where he will fit in your crystal ball with 157? And does the Waters match Friday have to take place before you have that thought?
no, I think that he's squarely in the mix now. 157's 157 is much better than 149, but it's
It's crazy
equally
how much better it is.
yeah, it's light years better, but it's equally question mark. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a clear cut answer. I don't think no matter what fan base you are, if you're a Penn Stater, you're saying Duke's gonna win this. If you're an Oklahoma State fan, you're saying Landon Robideau is awesome and he will win it or can win it. I don't think there's a clear cut answer. Even despite being light years better, and there are a ton of contenders, I don't think there's a clear cut answer. Myers Shapiro, Antrell Taylor, um, and I failed on last week's show or on Monday's show when we were talking about Daniel Zepeda, and we were talking about Zepeda wrestling as well as he did at the Scuffle. He took second to Joe Seeley. We talked about the fact of him being up at 157 when most people expect him at 49, and historically, Pat Pop will cut you down to your ideal weight, and Zepeda's kind of wrestling up at 157. What I failed to say was that the word is that Arrington's really hurt.
So this morning, so Arrington's out for the season.
Yeah.
Jackson Arrington needs surgery. He's out for the season. And I tweeted, is Zepeda in now? And I started
Right.
getting DMs like he's not that healthy. He might be out for the season. So I don't know what happened with Zepeda, but he might not be sliding in. He might be injured as well.
You gotta consider Zepeda now too. Was he at 157 because they were tinkering? Everybody kind of thought that Zepeda was a 49. They see
Yeah.
him wrestling at 57. They see him wrestling at 57. Well, the backdrop of it is Arrington's hurt. Is Zepeda a real 157 now, or is Zepeda only a 157 because they're trying to figure out if Zepeda is going to go and what he is at 157 because they need a replacement for Arrington, or is he just in his red shirt year and he's not going to pull a lot of weight this year and he's just wrestling and having fun? So a lot of moving parts there. As
Yeah.
far as crystal ball will come out next week. I'm not solidified. I haven't done 49 and 57. I haven't done any of them, but they're two weights where, I mean, frankly, I don't think that I can say anything definitively. These guys, to me, there's not enough data to say this guy is definitively superior to this guy.
Yeah. No, and again, Larkin wrestling Waters this weekend increases the data set. It's still small. Like, to take out Waters and Zerban, who are currently ranked 1 and 3 in the country, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
huge.
But I mean,
but
even that. So Waters is one, right? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Larkin goes out and beats Waters. Does Larkin automatically become everybody's number one? I don't know that. I don't. I don't know that. I
No,
don't
I
know that
don't.
Waters is solid. Waters is not a next topic one. You know what I
No,
mean?
correct. Yeah. No, I think with Brandon Cannon and PJ Duke and the years they're having, I don't think you can just put. Now I know Kaleb Larkin had a loss down at. I know Larkin has a loss to Jackson Joy at 49, so I don't know how that will factor in. But I do think if you're weighing up number ones to have a loss, if he beats Waters this weekend, I still personally wouldn't put him at one. Probably.
Listen, I'm not going to take away anything that Jackson Joy did. Like, I'm not going to diminish Jackson Joy's win over Kaleb Larkin because it happened in the fashion that it did. So Jackson Joy gets all the points from me. Yeah. What I'm going to say is that I give Larkin a little bit of grace for that. It's not like, oh, he got pinned by or teched by Jackson Joy. I have major questions about him. No, because it's a lot like a leg lace, right? Like Joy did that Cradle series, and if you don't have an answer for it, you don't have an answer for it. Like they can wrestle that
exposure. Yeah.
Right. So, I don't hold that loss.
I don't hold it. I'm just saying if you're ranking like Duke and Cannon and him, and one of them has a loss, regardless at a different weight, that might be a differentiating factor. I don't think it's also, again, if he's a true 57 pounder and he was down at 49, makes sense why he maybe got caught and whatever. But
another thing for PJ is, and again, the rationale or threshold for crystal ball and regular rankings is entirely different. But what is PJ's best? PJ's best win is Cardenas.
Yeah, it's a weird.
He really hasn't faced a lot of high ranked guys.
He hasn't, and the only he'll see Antrell Taylor at the end of the month, and then he'll see Brandon Cannon mid-February. Apart from that, Jordan Williams too, I guess. But apart from that, like for last show we were talking about all these loaded Big Ten schedules and looking at guys like Lillidahl and Ben Keeter and some of these guys in their upcoming schedules, and it's crazy because Duke really doesn't have that. I mean, again, he can beat Antrell Taylor and Brandon Cannon, but
next Thursday's show we're gonna do a segment next Thursday on who. The reasonableness of the paths of the undefeateds.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take everybody that's undefeated and we're going to look at the rest of the season schedule until conferences. And we're going to, judge the likelihood of them. This is what Duke has coming up. Now, Duke beat Cardenas. His remaining schedule is Jordan Williams, Antrell Taylor, Brandon Cannon.
Yeah.
So that's at least you get 3-4 good indicators before conferences. It's not incredibly robust, but
by the way, then he's probably then those guys are all gonna see each other again in Big Tens.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When we do the to me, when we do the most likely to be undefeated, I think we do it only until conferences.
Yeah.
Because obviously then you got to go through the postseason, number one. And number two, the matchups in the postseason are not as guaranteed, right? You don't know this. You don't know who they're going to get. Okay, so that's 157, Zepeda, Arrington.
Another big piece of news we can get to. Anthony Knox officially commits to Rutgers. Yeah. Thoughts?
I think he's been disgraced.
That article is such a joke. I went after that guy last time he wrote an article. He wrote an article about Anthony Knox and said same kind of stuff. Like that article was ridiculous. He changed that article pretty quick due to blowback, but
yeah. No, I think I like seeing guys stay home. Uh, I like I like seeing blue chippers not always go to the same 4 or 5 schools. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. I loved Anthony going to Cornell. I'm happy for him. I was happy for Cornell. That being said, um, if it wasn't right, obviously it wasn't going to be Cornell then, right? They determined um,
Yeah.
this isn't going to happen. Okay, so now the he can choose from 76 other programs, and but I'm happy. I'm happy that he's going to Rutgers.
Crazy that it's the fourth four-timer to go to Rutgers.
It's the fourth four-timer.
Yeah, I thought it was three. Bashada corrected me. It's the fourth. Camp Soriano.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Camp, Winston, Suriano, and now Knox. And the only other one was Gray, correct?
Yeah,
No,
I
I mean
believe so.
that's why when you said four and I was shocked. It's because Jersey only has a couple. I mean, they don't have many.
Gray's the only New Jersey State four-time champ that did not wrestle for Rutgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was thinking too, and then Bashada, the Jersey brain, texted me. I was like, oh, yeah. So.
Yeah. So, Rutgers, as I said before, they're going to have more money. They have money. They have donors that want to see the program do really well. And I think between NIL and institutional support and whenever Scott Goodell decides to hang it up, I think they're going to get guys like Knox, hopefully more than with more frequency than they do now. And I think they're going to hire slam dunk staff when Scott's gone. I think they have the money to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, staying home was always important, even the initial go around. And I think the Virginia Tech visit was scheduled for like this weekend or next weekend. And I think Rutgers came in with such a heavy offer that didn't even take place. That was canceled.
Yeah, yeah. And, I don't know to what extent. I think I said on a previous show that the family kind of wanted him to stay close to home. The family wanted him at Rutgers.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if whatever. They're secure and solid in their decision, and so good for the Knox family.
Yeah. And I don't think we see him compete this season, right? I don't think there were some questions about will we see him second semester. I don't think so. He was gray shirting this year at Cornell. I don't think by the time he can enroll at Rutgers, and it's already January 8th, I don't think there's a reason to rush into the season. So I don't personally think we see him until next year. What about you?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it'll be next year as well.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? Pat Minio? No, we're not talking about Pat Minio. It wasn't Pat Minio. It was Pat Lanny, his name was, that wrote the headline.
Yeah, and
he wrote a headline that disgraced New Jersey wrestling star commits to Rutgers after Ivy League dreams dashed, which is so... I mean, just utterly. First of all, the kid's 19 years old or something like that, right? And disgraced by what? I mean, in a world where kids are doing this and doing that and making bad decisions left and right, this kid gets into a fight. You know how many fights I got in high school?
You still get in fights.
I was in a fight every 2 weeks. Was I disgraced? What do you mean disgrace? Kids get in fights. The kid got in a fight. All right, and it's not like he was me. He wasn't in a fight every couple of weeks. They were yelling ridiculous stuff at him because that's what happens in New Jersey, and they got into it. The kid's not the devil. He's not disgraced. I love him. I'd do anything for the kid.
By the way, it's also not a history of it. Like, it's a one-time incident. Like, the headline, like, disgraced kind of implies, like, somebody who's routinely in trouble and, like, a bad person.
Right.
Like,
it was a one, by all indications, it was a one-time incident. That's not even it's not accurate at all. It's not disgraces. Is the wrestling world razzing this kid? I wouldn't touch that kid. I don't like that kid. Nobody looks at Anthony Knox as disgraced. I mean, it's just a terrible headline. Even if he was, he's a 19-year-old kid. And then the second part of it too, I don't think enough people took exception to the second part of it. After Ivy League dreams dashed, that's bullshit. There's 100% a path for Anthony Knox to go to Cornell. So that Ivy League's dreams dashed, that's bullshit too. It's like a bullshit lead and then a bullshit follow-up.
tell us how you really feel. I'm actually surprised you didn't do a voice over that. You must be mellow in Florida. See, the Sunshine State just...
And to top it off, like, this guy, his name's Pat Lanny, who's been writing about wrestling forever and ever, and it's just utterly disappointing. I mean, I've talked to the guy a couple times. And so I don't want to go hard on him because I mean, I've talked to the guy. But at the same time, calling a spade, that's bullshit headline. And you don't do that. And you don't do that to a kid. First of all, you don't do it to a kid, and it's not even accurate. And then to top it off, this guy, Pat Lanny, and that outlet are the first in line to blow him for an interview every time. Fuck off. I wouldn't give him the time of day. I wouldn't give that. If I was Rutgers or Knox, I wouldn't look in his direction ever.
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword because NJ.com does cover wrestling.
They cover it great.
That's the double-edged sword. Is that like NJ.com gives wrestling front page priority like other states do, football, basketball. Like NJ.com is one of
license. It doesn't give them an open pass to be sensational.
I agree. Don't worry, I agree. Calm down. I'm with you. All right, you want to get into the weekend preview?
Yeah, let's go weekend preview, Justin. What do we got on tap, bud?
We got Gabe Arnold up at 197 after runner-up at 174 at Soldier Salute. That's what we got. I did not anticipate that.
And what's the rationale for that, you think?
So, and Dean he's having a baby this month. I'm assuming his wife is probably, or girlfriend, I don't know if they're married, get close to giving birth. And that's probably why he's not competing, I would guess. So, Iowa listed 3 probables, and Gabe Arnold was one of them. Was definitely a surprise because he looked fine at 174. It wasn't like he looked sluggish, and he went. He had an overtime match with Danny Wask, and he lost it in the finals. Like, he looked fine at 74. So to jump to 97 the following week, it's kind of a...
Yeah, but it's not a jump to 97.
Well, sure it is. 74 to 84 to 97.
It's not. What do you think? He now weighs 20 pounds heavier?
No, but it's 2 weight classes. That's a jump. Competing at a weight class too higher. I'm not saying he's jumping 20 pounds. I'm saying he's potentially competing at a weight that's 2 weight classes up from where he wrestled last weekend. That's all. It's interesting. You don't often see a probable going up 2 weight classes.
Well, he's only doing it for the team.
I understand.
So, I mean, Nathan Desmond just did it.
Yeah. Okay, that's 2 all year.
Sometimes you have an issue in your lineup, and you move.
And listen, Gabe Arnold is a team player, so I'm not surprised at all that if they said, "Hey, do you want to be, potentially go this weekend?" 97, sure, put me in, coach.
Yeah. No, Gabe. I think Gabe's on the short. Gabe's good enough to hold his own at 97. I mean,
You're
obviously,
the one who told him to go stay. What was it? Was it last year? You told him to stay at 84 or something, and you said, "Willie, I'm
well,
5'2". Or
I didn't say stay at 84. I didn't say stay at 84. I said wrestle him. I mean, that year they had a good 74. That was 2 years ago.
yeah,
That year they had a good 74.
it was 5'7", not 5'2", but it was funny his reaction to you. Like,
Yeah.
all right, what else we got this weekend?
We got Cornell Lehigh, which I'm sad I'm missing because I love that duel.
And that's going to be a good one. I'm hearing everybody's back. It seems like, we're going to have full lineups. Lehigh is going to have Crookham and Stanich in the lineup likely. So it'll be great to have those guys making their season debuts. Shapiro's in the lineup, I believe, for Cornell. So it's going to be a great duel where two teams that have been very banged up look to square up in a healthy fashion. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's a great rivalry. It's become a great annual duel. One of those duels, even like, there's been some times, like great football games where one team in college could be 8-1, and the other team could be 3-4, and it's a rivalry game. Texas OU, something like that, Michigan, Ohio State, and one team is clearly superior than the other, but they get them in the big game.
Yeah.
That's happened in this duel a few times. And so it's become really a great duel, not only in and of itself, being two top teams and a rivalry, but they also compete for the same recruits, the same kind of recruiting profile. So it's great. I wish I would be there, but alas, I am here in Florida. So we got Cornell Lehigh. That's Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
And then the Big Ten. The Big Ten. Oh, we also have Okie State.
Bedlam.
Speaking of rivalries. And I mean, that one should certainly go the Cowboys' way. But again, like, Oklahoma State has been much better than OU the last decade or so. But even within that time, OU has really pressed them on a few occasions. Like, you needed like some heavyweight miracle a couple times. I think Zerban had to win. Zerban had to beat Heinzelman to win the duel a year or two ago. I guess it's 2 years now. So that's always fun. Bedlam. And
it is fun, but honestly, I don't know if there's a single way you can confidently pick Oklahoma to beat Oklahoma State this year.
No, I know, but it's
correct. It's Bedlam. Bedlam's always fun, but it's looking at like the matchups.
Do you know the etymology of Bedlam?
I don't even know what that word means, Willie.
It means the origin of the word, where the word comes from.
I saw it on a game day for the football game, but I don't remember. It did not stick.
So there's a town there's also a town right next to where I live, but there's a town in England named Bethlehem. And there was an insane asylum there. And the British people used to say, when something would go bonkers, it's going to be like Bedlam, because they can't talk. They their accent. So that's how the name Bedlam was born.
Look at that. You learn something every day.
Of the word Bedlam.
Thank you for that. You think we see Jax this weekend?
Maybe. But first, we get Jax. Okay, so I don't know.
Taylor says that he's going to get his 5 dates. He wants to use his 5 dates.
He's going to get his 5 dates. I was having a conversation. It's weird because you have conversations with wrestling people, and you don't. Then I do shows, and I don't know if I should keep it private or not, but I think this one's safe to say. So I'm downstairs last night. I was talking to Kyle Dake we were sitting in the lobby, me and Kyle Dake and a bunch of other people for 2 hours, and the topic of a lot of topics came up, but the topic of Jax Forrest came up, and I said, David, I said, Kyle, you think Jax is going to go, right? You think Jax is going to go? And Kyle went, David's going to use his best guys. And I said, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's crazy because there's only 8 dates on Oklahoma State's calendar from now until conference weekend. So if he's going to use Jax as 5, like there's only 8 duels from now until Big 12s. So you're going to see him often.
I mean, it would be shades of. I mean, no, it's not shades of that. I shouldn't say that. But I'll never forget. And Captain Don can attest to this.
Where is the Don? We got to get the captain on the show. It's been too long.
I don't know, but like this was like maybe 2013, and at the time, and during the course of like covering wrestling, going to events, I kind of get close to some kids and some families, and back then around 2011, 2012, I started at Flow. 2013, I think it was 2013 U.S. Open because it was like the first, one of the first big, maybe 2014, one of the first big events that Flow streamed was the U.S. Open one year, and I was really really close with Cade Brock. He was like my dude. He was my guy, and he came up and sat with me. He wrestled. He was a junior or senior in high school, and he wrestled senior level U.S. Open, and he won a bunch of matches. He beat Brad Pataki, who was I remember early he beat Brad Pataki, who was an All-American at Penn State. But he came up and sat with me the whole time. So, like a year or two later, Bedlam's going to happen. OU, Okie State, and I'm living in Austin at the time, and I'm like, should I go? Should I not go? I used to go to a lot of OU, OSU duels because geography-wise, it was the closest thing around, right? It's like 6-hour, 7-hour drive. So I used to go up to a lot of them, and it's a Saturday, and I'm like, should I go? Should I not go? You know what? I'm not gonna go. So I stayed home, and it was on ESPN. I turned on ESPN, and at 1:33, out comes Cody Brewer, returning national champ for Oklahoma. And who's Oklahoma State standing? Oh my God, it's Cade Brock. They're pulling Cade Brock out of red shirt. Oh my God, Cade Brock's going. I'm like, dang, I should have been there, right? And then Cade, I think, sticks him. And it was just the craziest thing. This true freshman pinning the defending national champ in the Bedlam duel, and it was just really cool. So I was going to say shade Jax Forrest coming in this year with shade with that, but there's no foil. There's no Cody Brewer returning.
Well, it's also interesting. Baschamania's a little high, champ. I can hear the cadence of your breath. Okay, Coach Schultz. I'll have to change that. It is interesting because I think Ronnie Ramirez still can technically redshirt, but if you use Jax's 5 dates and you don't wrestle in the postseason, whoever you put out there in the postseason is not going to do well if they're only wrestling 3 times from now until Big 12s.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's Ronnie Ramirez or Richie Figs wrestling 3 matches and Forrest wrestling 5. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what 5 dates they will use for Jax. Somebody else asked in the chat, what 5 will they use? I don't know. Now, there's pros and cons to it. Like, do you use them for this one? Where one you may you might not need them, right? You don't need them for this duel. Number one. Number two, he like literally just landed in Stillwater. So do you give him a week or two to acclimate and just get his feet on the ground, and have him move into his dorm room?
Right.
Um, on the other hand, do you want his first match to be a high profile pressure match? I mean, you probably don't want his first match to be Evan Frost. I don't know.
I feel like no matter what, there's going to be pressure if you're Jax Forrest, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I know it's better to wrestle.
no, I get what you're saying.
You know. So there's pros and cons to it. What 5 dates that he uses, I don't know. You guys, it's almost like for probably 6 straight episodes we've been talking about Jax and the possibility of wrestling, and I said that Jax is going to go to Oklahoma State, and people said, no, he's not. You're wrong, Willie. And now it's turned into, well, you're right, but is he going to wrestle? I mean, that's to be determined. From where I sit, I don't understand why you don't use him. Ronnie Ramirez is having a fantastic freshman year. He looks really good. I'm a big Ronnie Ramirez fan. But at this point in time, A, he still has a red shirt that he can use. And B, I don't believe him to be the potential point scorer that Jax Forrest is. And Jax made the senior world team. He is ready to go. The question is not, again, for the 10th time, the question should not be, is Jax ready to win a national championship? No. The question should not be, is Jax a lock to win a national championship this year? The question should be, is Jax good enough to win a national title this year? And I think the answer is he is a contender. He is a contender. If Jax goes out and takes fourth at NCAAs, that is a win. That is a tremendous achievement. And that is tremendous addition to Oklahoma State's team points. That's very, very critical. You say all you want. Even Oklahoma State fans will say, we can't win it this year, so I don't know. We might want to save him for a year. We can win it. I don't know. We might want to save him because he could be a four-timer. Yeah. Tell me on Friday night. Tell me on Friday night if this guy loses a close match and this guy loses a close match, and Ronnie Ramirez loses, he goes 2-2, and Oklahoma State's sitting in 5th place. Tell me then that it was a good idea to save him, because you're full of shit. Tell me then that your recourse will be, well, we'll have Jax next year. Yeah, great. But you could have had him this year, and you could have been second.
Yeah, we're repeating ourselves now. All right, let's give me the rest of what you got for the weekend.
I'm passionate about it. Well, the Big Ten schedule, Big Ten dual meet schedule starts. That being said, there's not a whole lot of juice. Like there's some individual matchups that are good, but it's like Penn State, Rutgers, clearly Penn State. It's Iowa, Wisconsin, good matchups, but clearly Iowa. And we can go back to Ben Keeter's situation where he needs a certain number of matches to allocate. This would be a big one against a pretty tough opponent in Braxton Amos. And I hope we see it. This is not a foreshadowing that Ben is not going to go. I'm not taking an opportunity to say if Ben doesn't go, they ducked. I'm not saying that. I don't know what Ben's health situation is. I'm just saying as a fan, I hope we see it.
Totally.
What else do we have?
Oh,
here it is. So tonight is Buffalo, Binghamton, Kent State Rider, Appalachian State Presbyterian. Tomorrow is Franklin and Marshall Open, National Duels
Ish.
thingy. National Duels thingy happens in Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan, Virginia, NC State. That's actually going to be a good duel. Virginia is very solid at a lot of places. Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. That's always a great duel. Wisconsin, Iowa, Purdue, Nebraska. Could see Blaze. I guess that's Blaze Raju. Maryland, Northwestern, Virginia, West Virginia, Arizona State. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay, so potential Waters, Larkin tomorrow. Duke, Stanford. That's it for Friday. Saturday, national duels again. Cornell at Lehigh, which we discussed. Edinburgh, Little Rock, Minnesota, Illinois. It could be Volk. No. What's the good matchups there? I didn't do my homework. But Minnesota, Illinois will certainly have a really great. That'll be a great duel, actually. They are very comparable, and there's a lot of matches that will be, to me, very evenly matched.
Top 25 matchups: Lucas Bird versus Braxton Brown at 133. You'll have Geoffrey versus Carter Young. I mean, those are really the only two top 25 matchups
this week.
I'm thinking Illinois, Maryland. Nope,
Yeah,
WrestleStat failed me. Well, I failed WrestleStat. Never mind.
Right.
I failed WrestleStat.
So
Spencer Moore, Jory Volk at 125. That'll be a good one. Chris Cannon, Lucas Bird, 133. Danny Pacino, Vance Vombauer at 141. Get Charlie Milliard, Cannon Webster at 57. That should be a good one.
Great. That's great, Bell.
Yep, that's a good one. Scholes Sparks at 65.
Great Bell.
Yep. And then Coy Hopke, Luke Luffman, another good one at heavyweight.
Great Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. That's Saturday at.
Devin in the chat's asking, does Davis go to F&M Open to get matches towards RPI? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Davis at Rutgers this weekend. I really wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either.
Matt Niss said in the chat, Bash, when will you know if they're going to give you a media pass this year at NCAA's? I don't think NCAA is going to credential podcast anymore. I don't think it's a me thing. But we do have a new plan in place.
We got a plan.
We got a plan in place.
Okay.
So, yeah, Davis, we could see Davis this weekend. I think we either see Davis or Desmond at Rutgers. Crazy that Penn State Rutgers, the over-under of matches Rutgers will win is 0.5.
Do you realize that with Desmond pretty much outgrowing, I think it's safe to say, he made it this year. In an emergency, I guess he could get back down.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, Penn State has exactly one guy on the roster at 125 and exactly one guy on the roster at heavyweight.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. This is a team.
Well, technically,
national titles.
Lucas Cochran is at heavyweight.
Isn't he a real 97 though?
Could be. But he's on the roster, wrestles at 285, and he's wrestled this year at 285.
But it's crazy that Penn State has so much success. They recruit so well that they're almost criticized for it. They have all the resources, and still, it's really, really tough to get 125s and heavyweights.
Yep. It's crazy because Penn State's got 3 at 33. They've got 5 at 41. They've got 4 at 49.
Everybody talks about, could Penn State's number twos, what would they place at NCAAs? Well, they literally don't have a heavyweight.
Well, Cochran at heavyweight would be their NCAA backup team.
Right,
and
but he's not really even a true. He's not even a true heavyweight. Now, he would be a fine entry, right?
Yeah.
But you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. I still want you to do a crystal ball at Penn State's backups, and they will entertain that for me, but...
Yeah. Okay. Also Saturday, Little Rock at SIUE, Rutgers at Penn State, and Rutgers has a good 41, so whoever goes is going to
correct. It's kind of funny that the only I'd say the over/under for matches Penn State or Rutgers would win at Penn State. The line would be 0.5, and the over is basically 41. The under is But to be fair, like I was talking to Baschamania yesterday, we were in the group chat talking about how many shutouts. What's the record for shutouts in Big Ten? Could Penn State get it this year? They already have 3, and some of their duels upcoming, like Rutgers, Northwestern, Indiana, Maryland. It's crazy with how Penn State's like so good at so many weights that it's so hard to get a team that's favored in 2 or 3 matches against them. 41's like the weird weight, but
yeah. Championship duel at the National Duel thingy is at 5 p.m. Saturday. Cornell also wrestles Bucknell. So they're going to wrestle at Lehigh at 1, at Bucknell at 7. Which is sort of crazy because they'll be at Lehigh. That duel will get done at 3 or 4 o'clock. They'll jump on a bus. It's about 2 hours. 6 o'clock. They wrestle at 7 o'clock. They'll walk into Bucknell's gym and immediately just wrestle.
Right.
Wyoming at Utah Valley. Duke at Cal Poly. That's it for Saturday. Sunday, Utah Valley Open. Oregon State and Utah Valley. Indiana at Ohio State. Maryland at Wisconsin. American at Lehigh. Iowa State. North Dakota State. Penn at Northern Colorado, Baptist at West Virginia, and then Bedlam. And then, that's the
night before, and then the night before.
RAF.
Do a card rundown. What do we got at RAF this weekend?
Card rundown for RAF. It's a good one, and I talked to Luke Rockhold yesterday. I don't get the, I don't get starstruck, but I talked to Luke Rockhold yesterday. That was pretty cool. The rundown, Muggsy against Pulis. I think Pulis is going to beat him up. Johnny DeJulius against Pat Lugo. A really interesting match because I think Johnny's really good, but he doesn't wrestle like Lugo does. Like Lugo is in a room constantly, but on the same side, Patrick hasn't competed in a while.
Yeah.
Next one, really weird matchup: Mustafa Elders, who is he was a 2024 Olympian, Egypt. He's wrestling Steve Mako. Saw Mako a couple times already this weekend. He looks. I see him around every once in a while. I see him in Super 32 and stuff. He's not as big as he used to be. He's kind of small now.
He's 44. He doesn't have the same mass as he once did.
Pat Downey against Stephen Buchanan. Really good to see Buchanan back on the mat. He hasn't wrestled in a while, and it's kind of interesting because Buchanan's an NCAA champion. He's a 4-time All-American. He's really freaking good. But Downey's been wrestling freestyle. Downey's been wrestling freestyle for 10 years exclusively. And Buchanan hasn't wrestled freestyle in a long time and hasn't wrestled a match since NCAAs. So It's really good. Let's see what if Buchanan gets the win. He could really be maybe a title threat
Yeah.
for the belt here at RAF. 155. Caden Henschel, Bo Bassett. Everybody's saying this is a giant mismatch, and I think it is. I think ultimately it is. I think ultimately Bo Bassett's going to get the tech, but I do think that Henschel. I don't think he's the pushover that everybody thinks he is.
I don't think he's a pushover, but I think there's levels, and I think Bo Bassett is definitely,
I agree, but I guess what I'm getting at is
Mike McDaniel has been fired.
Really?
Yeah. Just got the
I guess what I'm getting at is when RAF first put Henschel on the card, you know how I am. I'm like, oh God, this is a freaking influencer guy. He doesn't belong here. There's levels to this. But I'll say this. I've watched him, and I think he's solid in some of the things he does. And I don't think he's any less of an opponent than, say, the number 2, number 3, number 4 guy in the country in high school.
Sure.
Bassett,
but Caden's going to bring a lot more eyeballs because of his audience.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
If you go Super 32 and you say, okay, Bo Bassett's in the finals against the number 2 guy, Charlie DeSena, or Iron Man, number 2 guy, Charlie DeSena, or whatever, whoever it might be, who was in the finals with.
Isn't it funny that didn't Caden dog walk Clay Guida at the last RAF, and now Bo Bassett's going to turn around and it's going to be the other way around?
Like, okay, so everybody got excited about Joey Bachman, Bo Bassett, right? I mean, I was excited about it.
Yeah, I was excited about it too.
I don't necessarily think that, from what I've seen, I don't necessarily think that Caden Henschel's. I don't think it's a much different match. I don't know. Austin Santo Tomasello. I love this matchup. NATO's the champ. I think these are 2 pure 135 pounders. And I think this is a legit. It's a title bout, and to me, it's really compelling. I think it's going to be a really competitive bout. Who are you picking in that one? Chat. Who are you picking? DeSanto or
NATO? It's a tough one. I'll go DeSanto. I'm going to pick against the green.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning DeSanto too. But I don't know. Maybe I'm selling. I think, and part of picking DeSanto is his pace and he really puts points on the board. NATO doesn't quite do that, but NATO is really sound defensively and controls positions really well. And I don't know. Maybe I'm taking.
What happened the last time they wrestled?
Picking the Flash. Maybe I'm picking the Flash over the fundamentals.
Because you know what? Look I just pulled up. It was a DeSanto win via DQ last time. I don't know how that happened. What's a DQ at the Open? And then he beat him in 2023. He teched him 15-4.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I
mean,
so, yeah, I didn't either. So he's 2-0 against him. I mean, I don't remember what happened.
I would like, I'd like the winner here. To get, I don't know, maybe RBY next.
Well, hold on. What is the chat saying? When I think of Wyatt versus Gable, I think of Wyatt, not the move to Okie State, but that's just me. This is a good debate. Bash should be the judge. What is the chat debating about right now?
I don't know.
Can the chat let us know what they're debating about, and then we'll chime in once we're done with the RAF card.
Next bout is Where am I at? Next bout is Nate Jackson, Zahid Valencia. And, um, maybe 2 months ago we say next topic Zahid, but there's so many moving parts here. I mean, I think the answer is Zahid when he's maximized. Obviously, on the last card we had, he just wasn't his best, and that's not to take anything away from Parker Keckeisen, but is that he'd pretty much gassed, right? He'd get in on shots, not be able to finish. He threw up. He faded. It wasn't the Zahid from Worlds. Now, maybe he went to Worlds, did his thing, took some time off, just working back, wrestled Keckeisen, got a wake up call like, I need to get my shit straight. And maybe he did that the last 30 days.
But on the other side of the spectrum, you also have Nate Jackson who beat Carter Strachey 7-2 back in October. So it's like I'm picking Zahid. I'm picking Zahid here. I can't see after the years Zahid had taking 2 back-to-back losses. I can't see that. But I think it's going to be a great match. I think Zahid will walk away with it. But I think it's going to be a good match. Picking Zahid.
I love the matchup. Nate Jackson because his college career wasn't Strachey-esque, right? I mean, nobody's was Strachey-esque. Nate Jackson was very good in college. He wasn't a superstar, but he has been a much better pro. He has been a much better senior. I mean, every single rankings tournament, he's never failed to wrestle for a medal. He's never failed to medal. I mean, he has been fantastic on the senior level.
Yeah.
So I really like the matchup. The next match, Real Woods, Jordan Oliver, a rematch from 2 cards ago. It was a 2-2 bout, won by Oliver in the final seconds. There's 2 trains of thought here. Like Oliver didn't do much that entire bout, so it was kind of like you kind of like the more aggressive guy to get his hand raised.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I talked to it. Jordan wasn't trained. He had not wrestled a whole lot of live going into that. And I think that since he got that call, since he got on that card, there's a potential that he's even in better shape this go round.
100% think he'll be in better shape.
On the one hand, it's like, okay, Jordan nipped them at the end, but Real is national champ. He's the world team member. He medaled at Worlds 2-2. He was the aggressor. He'll get it this time.
I think Real gets it done.
I understand that train of thought. I also understand that Jordan could even be a little better than last time too. So
I think both things are true. I think Jordan is going to wrestle better this time. He's training more. I think when these guys get into RAF, it's kind of like it's the cool shiny thing. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Nico kind of said it after his first match. Like, I trained, but I didn't really train like I should have. Like, I think guys on the card the second time around are going to train a bit harder and a bit more. So I think Jordan Oliver is going to come more prepared. I also think Real Woods is going to come more prepared. I also think Real Woods is, again, coming off the loss, I'm kind of bullish on him as I am Zahid to rebound from a loss good.
Yeah. People wrestle Jordan Oliver a little different. He's tricky and he's slick and he stings you, and you make a technical mistake, a very acute difference of what you do, and Jordan can take advantage of that. And so I think even though Real was more aggressive than Oliver last bout, I still think Real could. There's room for Real to be even more aggressive.
Absolutely.
We'll see. And then the Nate Jackson Valencia. I think the winner will get either Trent or Parker in some form or fashion. Kaji Magomedov against Kyle Dake. Really great bout. Really great bout. And it's interesting because both of these guys, are small 190 pounders.
Yeah.
Kaji's he is not an 86. Kyle Dake is not a full size 86. And so, and then you also have the fact that Kyle Dake has been sort of the epitome of consistency. He's always a medalist. He's always a medalist. But Kaji has the win over Dake. And Kaji had the better Olympic run that year. But like Kaji also at 86 this year at Worlds, he went 0-1 or 1-1. Now against Dustin Platt, man, super undersized. This is Kaji, who's probably a 79, against Dustin Platt, who started his cut from over 97 kilograms. And Kaji was still, Plot wrestled great, but Kaji was still slick enough and technical enough to get that win. And so I think that Kyle's more consistent. I think on any given day, Kaji can really make it interesting.
Yeah, I think there's such an interesting dynamic, too, when you have a tournament versus a match. I think an individual match, Dake's just focused on one guy. I like Dake here a lot.
Yeah. I agree. That's certainly different. Then it's Lance Palmer against Armin Sarukian, and I'm going to be honest with you. I did not have any idea who Armin Sarukian was. I had zero idea. So part of what I do at RAF is I write the bios, and I go to write the bios, and I'm like, I don't know who Armin Sarukian is. I look him up. This dude's a number one contender in UFC. Number one contender. There's a champ, and then there's this dude.
Yeah, he's legit.
He has almost 3 million followers or something. I mean, this is a big deal, and I had no idea. I talked to him last night. That was pretty cool. But I had no idea who he was. And did some background info on him, and he started wrestling, and then he started playing hockey, and then he transitioned to BJJ, and he did really good there. And he seems like just a natural athlete.
He's a natural combat athlete, too.
He's wrestling Lance Palmer, who is by far more versed in wrestling. But I don't know. I feel like Sarukian's combination of size and athleticism could
I'm going Armin here. I think he's a freak, and I think he's in the prime of his combat career.
I know, and it's tough because Lance is much more well versed in wrestling, and he's become one of my best friends. I love him. He gave me this last night. Lance the Party Palmer.
Lance is awesome. If you haven't listened to Lance when he was on this podcast telling his story after he won $1 million, awesome episode. Early days of Baschamania. I like Lance a lot.
Yeah, he's an awesome. He's one of my he's my best friend now. I talk to him every day. He's great. But I think that, speaking plainly, I think this Sarukian guy is a real threat. Then we get to our last two bouts. Co-main event, Yoel Romero versus Bo Nickel. And if you would have asked me about this match a month ago, I would have said Bo Nickel. Next topic, stop it. Yoel Romero looks like he hasn't aged a day. He is an enormous human being. And did you ever watch two really high-level Greco guys? Obviously from other countries, because our dudes don't even look like this. Our dudes don't even look like this. But if you watch high-level Greco guys, and they're moving and they're getting to positions, they just look different. It looks like their feel for holds and their feel for their body positioning, they look different. They look like it's second nature to them. They look like they live it. That's what Yoel looks like to me. It looks like as simple as riding a bike to him. He gets to position easier than most humans on Earth.
Yeah. I do think like Yol looked awesome in RAF. I also think it's a bit of an overreaction, all of us combined, that I think when nobody knew what to expect when he was wrestling. Nobody knew what to expect. And he comes out and he looks awesome. Bo Nickel is aware of how Yol looked. Bo is aware of how he wrestled, and I think Bo will come prepared. And I think when you have, talking about Armin and being in the prime of his combat career at 29 years old, like Bo Nickel, arguably heading into the prime of his MMA career at 29 years old, give me the 29-year-old who's going to have a game plan. Yol's going to make it fun, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Bo.
Yeah. It's a really tough match to handicap. Beating Pat Downey is one thing, beating Bo Nickel is another. To me, that's why you make the matchups, because
you think
it's fascinating, and you're going to get answers.
Do you think when Bo was training, he said, "Cal, now when you wrestled Yol at the Olympics 21 years ago,"
yeah,
that's just like crazy. Like that is just crazy. For newer fans, Cal beat Yol Romero 3-2 at the 2004 Summer Olympics. 2004. It's crazy.
I think that I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. I'm not the game planner, and I'm going off very limited visualization, a very limited recent match. But I think that Bo will probably try to avoid anything upper body.
If Yol does get a win here somehow, again, I think it's Bo. It's Bo. If Yol does get a win here, who do you book him against next?
I mean, at that point,
Cal comes out.
At that point, you're probably looking at. I don't know. I guess there's a couple domestic guys, but my knee jerk reaction was a foreigner. A foreigner, 205, 97 kilogram guy. Or I don't know. Might be interesting. Trent might be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our final match of the evening, which I have no idea how it's going to go, but I'm totally there for it, is Luke Rockhold, Colby Covington. These guys are both UFC champs or fought for UFC titles, and they're not wrestling people. Colby was an All-American for Oregon State. Rockhold, if you look up Rockhold's resume in the background, he has just been so he like that Armin Sarukian. Just everything he touched, he was great at. Grappling, MMA, he's been really good, and I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Wrestling's a whole different animal, but we'll see. I think I'm excited for it. I mean, you can't. It's Luke Rockhold and Colby Covington. I don't know. I would watch I would watch them in a pie eating. I would watch them do anything against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. The chat was debating the biggest. Sometimes the chat makes me laugh because I love watching debates and I love watching arguments. The chat was debating. My understanding from reading what we're talking is they're debating the biggest storyline from NCAA's last year. Guys, that's not even a question. It's Wyatt beating Gable. It transcended mainstream like that. It had the president talking about it. It was on Rogan. It was on everything. Like that. When you have a storyline where something happens that it transcends to the mainstream media and everybody is talking about it, far and away the biggest storyline. The wrestling purists might look at like, hey, Nebraska's runner-up finish, Penn State scoring record, but the storyline was Wyatt. Wyatt beating Gable was earth-shattering.
And so I was there in a suite with Izzy and Chad Bronstein, two co-founders of RAF. They said, Willie, we're talking about starting a new league. We'd like to talk to you. We'll be at NCAAs. And it was going to happen anyway. RAF was going to happen regardless. But when Wyatt did that, and Hulk Hogan saw that happen, and Hulk Hogan saw the reaction, the crowd, for it to transcend endemic media and go to CNN and Fox News and ESPN, and Hulk Hogan said, "Yep, let's blast it. Let's blast away." So, yeah, guys, it was certainly it's one of the highlights of NCAA wrestling history. As much as
that was
breaking the record, and
yeah. And again, Oklahoma State, I mean, it's just, that was the storyline. So we got a fun weekend prepared. Willie, I don't know. I think we saved these next two for the next week's show, the all-freshman team and the who can go undefeated.
Yeah, that's a next week thing. We've been at it for over an hour. And, hey, fun weekend of wrestling coming up. Watch RAF. It's going to be a great card. And is there football tonight?
Isn't Ole Miss tonight?
Ole Miss, hotty toddy.
I was getting Willie to do the whole thing this morning.
Lane Kiffin gets bonuses for these wins.
Yeah, when he made his contract, he had in his contract at Ole Miss, he had playoff incentives. Each round, he basically, I think, almost doubles.
I know.
And then LSU said, "We'll give you those. We'll still let you keep those."
Coach Schultz says he needs a kale cookie. Kale's cookie, they're like $4 a pop. I just can't get over the prices of things these days. Anyway,
for what you pay for a snack bar, it's
Anyway, go run.
By the way,
red. I hope Ole Miss wins the whole damn thing.
I'm going to
Ole Miss and Indiana.
Hey,
I want Ole Miss, Indiana.
I want Indiana. It's a great storyline this year. I'm going to do a cookie review, an unbiased cookie review. I got a box coming. I'm going to do an unbiased cookie review live on the show. All right, that's the show, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll be back. Go Bills this weekend against Jaguars Sunday.